Greetings from Research and More. The aim of this video is to describe and discuss how theory can inform and improve the quality and relevance in business and management research. It offers guidance on how theory and theoretical concepts or perspectives may be selected and used. Also included is how to make an original contribution to knowledge. The contents of this video cover the following: possible definitions and conceptualization of theory, how theory relates to inductive, deductive, and abductive research approaches, the role of theory in developing theoretical and conceptual frameworks, and how to improve your understanding of how to make an original contribution to knowledge. One important but challenging aspect at the start of a PhD study is to understand what theory is and the role it plays. We are often confused about the meaning of theory as it is often used differently by different users. If you are to check out the meaning of theory in a dictionary, it is not going to help very much as the word theory has different meaning in everyday use. Even in scientific usage, the word theory has different meanings depending on the context of its use. Nevertheless, theory is necessary and useful in most business and management research, and it is essential in PhD research. The word theory is used differently by researchers in different domains, and individuals may interpret theory differently according to the philosophical viewpoint they favor. While examiners expect to see propositions and hypotheses supported by theory or theoretical concepts or perspectives, and for empirical findings to be explained by theory or theoretical concepts or perspectives. Let's run through a few definitions of a theory. The first definition is a statement of concepts and their interrelationships that shows how or why a phenomenon occurs. A theory is used to explain a phenomenon after undertaking a thorough process of examining and deliberating relevant facts. Yet another author describes a theory as seeking to describe, explain, and predict reality in sequential order. So, theory, in the simplest terms, may be regarded as a set of interrelated concepts or ideas that explain some aspect of the real world. As you can see from the different definitions here, the concept of theory varies depending on the context in focus. For example, people in daily life often talk about theories in terms of being more about personal assumptions, convictions, and/or thoughts about a specific phenomenon, behavior, perception, or situation that they perceive in reality. In private sector of business, theory is not frequently included as part of their discussion. Instead, they use other concepts such as strategic planning, business model, and scenario. In the public sector, theory is not commonly used, but their reality is governed by other criteria, such as routines and regulations. Students, on the other hand, often refer to theory as a model or framework. Research requires a sound theoretical basis and strong methodology. As such, the importance of theory in research cannot be underestimated. There are three reasons why theory is important for research. Firstly, it provides a framework for analysis. Secondly, it provides an efficient method for field development. And finally, it provides a clear explanation for the pragmatic world. Due to the various definitions of what constitutes a theory adopted by researchers and theorists use typologies and classification systems to describe the types of theory in the context of purpose, functions, boundaries, and goals. This definition of theory uses 8 constructs. It suggests that a theory should possess descriptive ability. It should also have explanatory power, bring about heuristic value, be testable, allows integration, have parsimony, able to show clarity, be comprehensive, and enable delimitation. These constructs are based on the fact that theory generates research and research generates and refines a theory. Another typology of theory is from Creswell and Creswell 2018. They suggest a three-level typology of theories. Researchers are often concerned with substantive theories which are specific to a particular population, problem, or research setting, but it is often difficult to make generalizations from substantive theory. The middle range theories, such as some of the general theories on human motivation, are more likely to frame empirical inquiry but are less likely to influence how individuals think about the world. At the top of the pyramid, grand theories provide an abstract and general theoretical perspective that can influence how individuals think about the world. However, grand theories are too abstract to be tested empirically. The building blocks for a complete theory are made up of 4 essential elements: what, how, why, who, where, and when. The what element captures the factors that should be considered as part of the phenomena of interest. How is the element that shows the relationships between and among the identified factors, for example, using arrows to connect boxes. The why element is the rationale behind the model that explains the reasons for others to give credence to the representation. Finally, the fourth building block is comprising of who, where, and when, which are the conditions that place limitations on the propositions generated from the theoretical model. What is the role of theory in developing theoretical and conceptual frameworks? Most business and management research aims to explain a particular behavior. For example, a choice or an outcome that is associated with individuals like leaders, employees, and consumers, groups like work teams, companies, and countries, or systems like company practices and government policies. Theories are used to explain such behavior. Theories can be used to provide both predictions and explanations. For example, theories may be used to explain why some companies are successful while others are not, or why an individual decides to buy product X while another individual decides to buy product Y. Theories do this by specifying how different concepts of phenomena relate to one another and why these concepts of phenomena relate to each other in the way that they do. More elaborations on predictions and explanations using theories here. Predictions are often stated as propositions in qualitative studies and as hypotheses in quantitative studies. A proposition is simply a statement that predicts a relationship between two or more concepts and constructs, whereas a hypothesis is a statement that predicts what the researcher expects to observe in the real world through empirical research. The term empirical research refers to the study of reality where only knowledge gained through observation is acceptable. A hypothesis is not itself a theory. It is simply a prediction. It is essential that every hypothesis is supported by theoretical arguments and logic, as well as previous empirical findings where they exist. Whereas proposition is qualitative research inquiry, essentially occurs in the field with actors and events happening in their natural settings. This diagram shows how theory is connected to the real-world phenomena through different types of research. It indicates that theory can inform reality or vice versa, reality can inform theory. There are three different research approaches by which this can be done, namely inductive research, deductive research, and abductive research. Inductive research is concerned with theory building. When there is a lack of existing theory that predicts and explains a particular behavior in the social world, the researcher collects data in the real world with the aim of building a new theory. Deductive research is more suitable in situations when theory or theoretical concepts or perspectives already exist to explain specific behaviors in the social world. In such situations, the researcher formulates hypotheses with which to test the existing theory with the aim of modifying the existing theory in order to improve its predictive and explanatory powers. And abductive research adopts a pragmatist perspective to overcome weakness in the inductive and deductive approaches. Using an abductive approach, the researcher moves back and forth between the real and theoretical worlds in order to select the best explanation from competing explanations or interpretations of the data. Making an original contribution to knowledge very often incorporates a theoretical contribution. A theory should apply in a range of specified contexts and settings. That is, the theory should be generalizable. For example, a particular theory of firm investment may apply in developed nations, but it might not apply in developing nations. When in this situation, a researcher may attempt to modify the model so that it has predictive and explanatory powers in developing nations. What happens here is the contribution to knowledge is not in applying the existing theory in a new context, but the adaptation of the existing theory so that it can be used in the new context. In a PhD study, just replicating a study by testing an existing theory is not enough, as no new knowledge is generated. What is required is to be able to show a contribution to knowledge. However, you can still achieve it in many different ways. One example is you may study a particular topic using a methodology that has not been previously used, which could lead to new knowledge and theoretical insights. Whenever possible, you should use existing theory in your research. However, it can be challenging to find and select relevant theories that may be useful in your research. You also need to appreciate that simply including a number of theories in your thesis is not the same as providing a strong theoretical foundation for your research. Theory should be used to explain the relationships between different phenomena, and the research should have some degree of theoretical coherence linking the various concepts together. General theories are often used to provide a foundation for research, which then informs the use of more specific theory that may provide superior explanatory powers. Very often, students introduce new ideas or variables to an existing theory that somehow improves the theory. For example, an existing theory may be modified by incorporating ideas from a theory in another field, but there must be a logical rationale for doing this. By improving an existing theory, you can make the expected contribution to knowledge, which should already be well thought through in your research proposal. The output of your literature review is the conceptual or theoretical framework. It is typically presented in a diagram form based on existing theory that is found in the literature. A theoretical framework provides a general representation of relationships between concepts or ideas in the study. It serves as the structure and support for the rationale for the research, the problem statement, the purpose, the significance, and the research questions of the study. Theoretical framework specifies the theory that guides you in your research, which helps determine what you will measure and what relationships you will be investigating. A theoretical framework may be regarded as the researcher's lens with which to view the world. Your choice of framework should reflect important personal beliefs and understanding about the nature of knowledge and how it exists, which is also related to the methodological choices you make. Without a theoretical framework, the structure and vision for a study is unclear. A conceptual framework, on the other hand, indicates the concepts of interest in a study and the assumed relationships between them. Concepts are the building blocks of theory and represent the points around which business and management research is conducted. Some examples of concepts are training, employee involvement, leadership style, employee loyalty, and employee performance, and more. You are expected to present a conceptual framework in your proposal. It provides a visual display of how concepts or ideas in a study relate to one another within the theoretical framework. So while a theoretical framework is derived from a theory, a conceptual framework is derived from concepts. In explaining a particular phenomenon, two researchers may each draw upon the same theory but create two different conceptual models. A PhD must always make an original contribution to knowledge. But what does original contribution mean? The notion of originality and what constitutes knowledge is often debatable. Originality requires attention to the development of original thought and original work. This may be evident in the research design, the knowledge synthesis, the implications, or the innovative way in which the research is conducted and presented. Originality is not only related to an outcome or output, but also to the overall process of producing an outcome. You cannot achieve an outcome without undergoing a process that stimulates the creation of that outcome. You are also expected to demonstrate the application of knowledge and skills with initiative and creativity, where creativity implies that a contribution represented by a doctoral thesis needs to be both novel and relevant. In business and management research, novelty and relevance may include using a new approach, theory, method, or data, studying a new topic, doing a research in an under-researched area, or producing new findings. A good PhD results in both theoretical and practical knowledge that often leads to recommendations that can better serve the needs of industries. Whereas a good theory is practical because it advances knowledge in a discipline, guides research towards important questions, and provides useful insights for managers and organizations. In applying existing methods to new data could result in incremental additions to the knowledge base, while the application of new methods, new questions, or new ideas could generate more radical shifts in knowledge. For new researchers, research that is based on theory testing may be easier for you to cope with because there is already theory and literature in the research topic, along with established norms for empirical work and data analysis in the research domain. If you find this video useful, please subscribe and comment so that more of similar videos can be created.